Here comes Shane. Let's see if you found anything. Are we tracking?
No.
Ugh.
Did you get all excited?
Yeah, I thought you were running a little bit late. I thought maybe you were into something.
No, I had to run down to get cell service so I could get a hold of Garrett.
Okay. Well,
Because he wasn't sure where to go. When I got here, you weren't here, and I sat here for a while and didn't see you. I was like, well, you should have been here by now.
oh, I had a
I was
mishap.
like, I wonder if they've already communicated.
Yeah.
So I went down there to get cell service so I could text you guys.
Did you get him?
I didn't get cell service until I got all the way down there, and so
Did you talk to him?
yeah. And I dropped him a pin to here.
Okay.
He's gonna meet us here. Oh, you want to hear about what happened?
Sure.
I'll make this quick. So I was a little late getting in there because I went to go get cell service this afternoon
Right.
to talk to him, and I slipped in there to my spot, and there was this big oak tree where I could watch the little narrow strip of pines between the two swamps, and I wanted to get in that, but so I could see there, but I couldn't shoot down into the woods where I wanted to, so I slipped another 10 yards to a little maple. I'm about 3/4 way up to get set up, and I just happened to look over, and there's a deer standing there broadside at 40 yards.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, they're coming out early, and it couldn't see me because the big oak tree was blocking its head and stuff. So I slid down the tree real quick, and it was standing on the trail that would have probably brought it to me, but I didn't know if it saw me or anything. So I slid down and got my bow and everything, and I crept over to that big oak, and as I peeked up, it must have heard me or something, and I didn't see it, and it done moved, and it was looking right at me, and psh, took
Ugh.
off, and I'm like, so I climbed in the tree and sat there and didn't see any more deer, but I heard turkeys, and I heard turkeys fly up, and so twice I've seen deer there, and both times I've been busted, so at least I'm seeing deer. And I'm about hit a deer right here, right there. So with my car.
He doesn't realize there's another entrance.
Pretty good. Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Garrett has arrived.
Hey, how's it going, Sean?
All right, man. How you feeling?
Pretty
Gonna
good.
Blind you with this light.
Yeah.
About you.
The missus is here. How was the trip?
Not too bad. I mean, it's
That's good.
a couple-hour drive, so
Yeah,
all highway for the most part.
yeah, that's good. Yeah. Any traffic?
No, not too bad.
You getting cell service out here?
No, it looked like we were getting 3G on this road, but I mean, nothing was loading, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I downloaded the
Glad you found us.
yeah, that pin that you guys sent was pretty much spot on, and I had enough map cache loaded
Yeah.
that it still showed up well enough.
Took a fall last night, and looks like my knock got turned on from the fall. Everyone is still sleeping, so I gotta go wake them up because we're running late. It's 5:20. Okay, I'm going to show you the reason I picked this spot today. I didn't see any deer in the stand, but I bumped some really nice deer out of here. One was right over that way, about 60 yards, and the other was right under this tree where I was planning to go. They were both real big, you can tell, big, heavy deer when by the way they bounded off. You could hear the weight hitting the ground. So let me show you the spot. There's a swath in this. It comes up here. From here over is super thick. So you gotta kind of come through this really thick area. It's just little saplings down through there. You gotta fight through that. But then there's a swath that goes right here. There's a lot of white oaks. And then up on the top, it ends there, and then on the top of this ridge is real thick again. So there's basically this narrow band of oak trees that goes right down through. It's perfect for them to funnel through and feed through this spot, this area right here. And it's opened up enough that you got good shooting. And it's a good area. Just didn't come together today. So the oaks funnel down to a point over on this side, like that. And then it comes this way. Another reason I like this spot is it's a high spot. Comes up, and then this is the high spot, and then drops back down. It's hard to see in the video. But the deer also travel right along this high spot to get to this area. So I get lots of deer traffic coming this way and also across, just feeding through on the acorns. So I just got down from my morning setup. If you ever want to know if deer are actively feeding at an oak tree, you look for scat, but also the shells. Sometimes you can see fragments of the shells that fall out of the deer's mouth while they're eating. Let me find an example here. This shell's cracked, and there's even a deer scat pellet right next to it. More deer scat there. Lots of deer compression, hoof compressions in the leaves here too. So I'm headed back to meet the others. I bumped a deer coming out. I just took a little walk down through the woods from where I was set up. And there was a deer down there, another 90 yards or so. I got a long way to walk. You can't even see my car yet. Over a mile. Looks like a hunter dropped his apple. Folks, I'm at base camp, and this is the final morning of my hunt because I got to get back for work. The guys told me to meet here at 10:30. It's almost 11, so maybe they got into something, and I haven't been able to get any messages or anything from them, so we'll have to wait and see and find out what happened with Shane and Garrett and his wife and see if any of those guys got any deer. That would be awesome. There's Garrett and his wife. See anything?
We saw some when we were walking in.
Yeah?
Yeah. But, I mean, it was still dark at that time.
Yeah. So
we weren't off the road very far,
Yeah.
obviously in that spot, and even on the pavement you could hear deer in the woods.
Yeah.
So we walked in maybe 20 yards and just sat
Yeah.
and waited for it to get light, and there's probably, I would guess, maybe half a dozen deer.
Yeah.
Some of them were within 40 yards you could hear, and they were mostly had walked off into the swamp by the time it actually had gotten light.
Yeah. Did you do any walking around then after that, or?
Not a ton. We moved into that saddle and spent a few hours there to just see if there was going to be more deer off that other ridge that were going to come down.
Yeah, it seems like my thought going into this morning was that I thought the deer were probably going to be at the food source and then head into bed. Like, I didn't think there would be a lot of milling around after daylight. And I bumped a bunch of deer out of where I was going. Right when I got there, I walked that power line a mile back, and then I stepped in the thick stuff, and there was one bounded off there, one bounded off over there. I'm like, and I got set up anyway, but I didn't have any other movement throughout the morning. And then I tried walking down through the woods a little bit before coming back out to power line. I did bump one. Maybe it was probably 150 yards down the woods from me. There's a cluster of oaks all through there, and that deer was probably just hanging out there. I came in up here and pushed these deer out undisturbed down there. Like, that one didn't really know what was going on and just stayed there, So
yeah, it seemed like that spot we were at, the red oaks were really raining.
Yeah.
There was a couple white oaks there, but
they weren't
on them. They were already done.
Are you hiding the bloody hands?
Mm-hmm. didn't see much this morning.
Folks, that brings us to the end of this Wisconsin map reading challenge, at least for right now. The rut's on its way, though, and who knows? God willing, maybe I'll be able to get back into Wisconsin. Now, this place was about 4.5 hours away from where I live, but I'm only a couple hours from the border, like maybe about 2.5 hours from the border of Wisconsin. I'm thinking of going in blind, maybe going on a blind map reading challenge, just over the border, some public land, whatever I can get myself into. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. And I want to thank Shane and Garrett's wife, Samantha. Thank you guys for coming out and joining me on this hunt. Maybe we'll be able to make it an annual thing. And this whole season of the Map Reading Challenge has really broadened my view. And I'm going to make some pretty interesting modifications for next year. But I think what I'll do is I'll make a separate video on that explaining to you, I'm looking for teams. I want to see some teams developing throughout the country and airing some episodes on my channel. We're going to hopefully see what's happening for these teams all around the country. So stay tuned for that. You won't even have to travel far to do your own map reading challenge and be part of the Map Reading Challenge family here on this channel. So stay tuned, as I said. Until then, take care and God bless.